Rowan Alexander RJ Barrett Jr., born June 14, 2000. Has RJ Barrett hit his ceiling as a basketball player? In my opinion, yes, and in this video, I'll explain why. First off, this is a bona fide NBA player we're talking about, not some bust or nepo baby that doesn't belong in the league. Barrett has averaged 20 points or more multiple times in his career, along with over 5 rebounds in each season, and he shot over 40% from 3. An elite talent? Yes, he is, in the grand scheme of basketball. But when it comes to the NBA level, him ever being top 3 pick worthy, leading a team to a deep playoff run, or building around him like some expected leaving Duke, I just don't see it for these reasons. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. RJ Barrett is a 6'6" wing from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, who came into the league with one of the most decorated resumes in his class. The son of former professional player Rowan Barrett, he was a prodigy early, starring for Team Canada's youth program and becoming the face of Montverde Academy, where he played alongside future NBA players and established himself as the consensus #1 recruit in the country. A McDonald's All-American and blue-chip prospect throughout high school with a clear one-and-done label ahead of him. He committed to Duke, and there, Barrett averaged 22.6 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game, leading the ACC in scoring and taking on primary option responsibility, even with Zion Williamson on the roster. His downhill scoring, strength, and ability to create offense late in games made many believe he had franchise cornerstone potential. He was selected 3rd overall in the 2019 NBA draft by the New York Knicks, a team searching for a long-term star to build around. Barrett was immediately given heavy minutes, high usage, and the freedom to play through mistakes, something most young players don't receive. Over 5 seasons in New York, he was steadily improving his averages, reaching multiple 20-point-per-game seasons, while becoming a durable and reliable presence in the lineup. Midway through the 23-24 season, he was traded to Toronto, returning to Canada with expectations that a new environment, not to mention him being home, could unlock another level in his development, but as of now, not quite. Stunt number 1, the expectations that locked his growth curve. RJ Barrett's ceiling conversation really starts before he ever played an NBA game, because the version of RJ people still have in their heads was created at Montverde and Duke. He wasn't viewed as just another top prospect, he was supposed to be a franchise engine. A big, left-handed scoring wing who could control the tempo, bully smaller guards, finish through contact, and close games. Even sharing the floor with Zion Williamson, Barrett led Duke in points and took the most shots. That told the basketball world he was wired to be the #1 option at the next level. Although, to be honest with you, I never saw it. We'll speak more on that in stunt number 2. Then he landed in New York, and instead of being brought along slowly, he was immediately put into a role that matched those expectations. Heavy minutes, high usage, tough defensive assignments, late game responsibilities, and on the surface, that sounds like the perfect development situation. But in reality, it sped up his timeline without giving him the space to refine the parts of his game that needed it most. He was learning how to survive in the league while being treated like someone who was already supposed to lead. So while other young wings were growing into their games behind established stars, RJ was already being judged like a finished product. By year 2 and 3, the conversation wasn't about patience, it was about whether he made the leap. The problem is, his strengths translated early. He could get to the rim, he could absorb contact, he could give you 18 to 22 a night. That made it look like the growth was happening, when in reality, his efficiency, shot creation versatility, and half-court decision-making were developing much slower. And once a player shows you who he can be at a high usage, 35 minutes a night workload, the league starts adjusting to that version, not the future one. RJ's plate has a lot to do with the role he was given so early, which revealed both his strengths and limitations at the same time, and from that point on, the expectation curve never moved, only the evaluation did. Stunt number 2, borderline elite skills. RJ Barrett hasn't fallen short of expectations because he's a bad player. It's because the jump people were waiting for requires a level he simply doesn't have athletically or skill-wise. His game lives right on the line between great and elite, and in the NBA, that gap is the difference between a #1 option and a complementary piece. At every level before the league, his physical tools look dominant. At 6'6", with strength, body control, and downhill aggression, he could get anywhere he wanted on the floor. In high school and at Duke, that first step was enough. That power through contact was enough. That left-handed drive was enough. But in the NBA, where every wing is just as big, just as strong, and just as fast, the moves that used to create separation now create tough contested attempts. That's why his 20-point seasons never feel easy. He can score, but it takes volume, it takes physicality, and it takes a lot of attempts. There's no second gear where the game slows down and he starts getting clean looks whenever he wants. The elite wings, the franchise ones, have that. They have another level of burst, another level of shot creation, and another level of touch and efficiency that travels even when the defense is set. RJ's athleticism is good in the NBA, not overwhelming in the NBA. His handle is strong, not elite. His jumper is improved, not fared. His passing is capable. Everything about his game is right on the edge, good enough to produce, not special enough to change the game. And that's why the ceiling conversation changed, because a number 3 pick isn't projected to just be productive. He's projected to be a player the defense has to completely game plan for. RJ can give you numbers, he can give you minutes, he can give you reliability, but he's never had that extra level to rise above the other wings in the league. He doesn't have another gear, and at the NBA level, that's the gear that separates stars from players who are simply good for a long time. Stunt number 3, the trade that told the truth. RJ Barrett's ceiling didn't get confirmed by a stat line, it got confirmed by a transaction. When New York traded him, there wasn't league-wide shock. No wow, they just gave up their future. No sense that a franchise player had changed teams. It felt like a move, a rotation shift, and for someone drafted 3rd overall, once viewed as the long-term face of the Knicks, that silence said everything about how the league now values him. Because if a front office truly believes in you as a number 1 option, you don't get included as a salary balance, and you don't get moved in a deal where the main focus is somewhere else. You get built around. In New York, RJ had time, he had usage, he had playoff reps, he had multiple roster iterations, different coaches, different lead guards. The organization cycled through everything trying to find the version of the team where he naturally became the centerpiece, and it never happened. And at this point, it likely never will. Not because he didn't produce, but because his production never shifted the identity of the team. Then he gets to Toronto, a fresh start, home country, more opportunity, and the role still looks familiar. Solid minutes, solid numbers, reliable presence, but the offense doesn't orbit him, the defense doesn't tilt toward him, and the franchise direction isn't defined by him and his bully ball heads down play. That's the key. Franchise players change a team from inside out. RJ fits into it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Most good players in the league live in that space. Long careers, big contracts, real impact, but the difference between a top 3 pick who becomes a cornerstone and one who becomes a high-level complementary piece is whether the team eventually hands him the keys. RJ has been given opportunity after opportunity, and he's never been given the keys. At this point in his career, that's not development, that's definition. All in all, RJ Barrett is a good NBA player, a real one. 20 points a night when given the role. Strong frame, rebounds his position, gets downhill, plays heavy minutes, and shows up every season. That's not easy to do in the league, but the jump from good to franchise changing never came. And at this point, probably isn't coming. The burst isn't there, the separation isn't there, and the efficiency never reached a level where a team has to build everything around him. What he's become is a high-level complementary wing, someone who helps you win when the structure is already in place. And there's value in that. Long career, big contract, meaningful minutes, just not the centerpiece people saw on draft night for these reasons. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunning. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.